Hey everybody. Well, I tell you what, we are pretty excited to be here with you all. We have Sal Daggett here and Sue. I will introduce you shortly. My name is Mike Scott. I'm the program director at Farm Table Foundation. We're outside of the restaurant, close to the garden here, where we'll be doing some of our weekly video tutorials, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is the first of Farm Table and Hungry Turtle Farm joint video chats and tutorials about our Victory Garden initiative. Sue Catt is the farm director at Hungry Turtle Farm, a close sister organization to Farm Table, just outside of Amory. Sue has been a farmer for many years, including a CSA farm, community supported agriculture farm in Vermont, and also done some beef farming there. Sue is here from Hungry Turtle Farm, and Sal is here from Farm Table Foundation. She's our produce manager and also is a proprietor and owner of Rooster Haven with her partner Joe, when they raise poultry and also vegetables. So I also want to thank Peter Henry, who one of the co-founders of Farm Table Restaurant, as well as owner now of Dragonfly Gardens, and he said to us, hey, you know, this Victory Garden thing is taking off. Maybe we want to plant some Victory Gardens out at Dragonfly Gardens. And then we said, yeah, let's do that, and we'll have these weekly video tutorials from the garden to help guide you in the process of gardening. So we're excited to be here with you all. I want to say a little bit about Farm Table briefly. Our mission is to build local food culture, and our work seeks to rekindle connections between people and the land, local food, and farmers. We seek to build community, to support conservation, and teach the craft of local food preservation, growing, and cooking. Now, this initiative, Victory Gardens, of course, draws on a time of national crisis in World War I and World War II. Just as, you know, in those days, people banded together for the common good and started growing gardens. In some ways, that's what's spreading around the country now, is a sense of connection, even though we're in some ways we're more socially disconnected than we are usually, of connection to one another and our sense of working toward the common good. And, you know, sometimes these days I've been feeling like, you know, we're practicing something that we need practice at, and that is that working for the common good is actually good. And we're embodying the fact that we are actually more interdependent and dependent on one another than separate and independent. And I think gardening is one of the best ways to practice that and embody that. So, you know, as you're doing your gardening and learning from Sue and Sal, you know, have fun, breathe deeply of the soil, get your hands dirty, and also remember that larger context of us being connected as a society these days, and that you really are working for the common good as well. So with that, we're real excited to join you for this first chat. Sue and Sal will give a little intro now on some of what you'll be learning from them.
Okay, everybody, so here we are at the site of what's going to hopefully be our Victory Garden. We're going to do a little unpaving of paradise and tearing up a parking lot. So when you all get your flats, we are also going to be planting our flat right here in our future Victory Garden. And then every week we'll just come on out and do some gardening with you, and that way we can give you tips on the exact same plants that you're all growing. Let's see, so a couple things we just wanted to quick mention were, to get ready for this, you might want to think about the space that you have in your yards. About a 20 by 20 should be enough for the flat. If you have more space than that, then we can add some seeds, and if you don't have that much space, next week we'll talk about some options for making the most use out of your space.
Yeah. It's going to be great. Hi. So a few tips if you're ready to get started and can't wait until next week to think about how you're going to replace your lawn with some vegetables. Some things you can do to get started are you can start digging up any grass that you want to replace with vegetables, or you could lay down a tarp in the space that's going to be your garden, and that's going to start killing the grass down, so it'll be a lot easier to get it ready. Otherwise, if you just want to wait and follow along with us, we will be talking about prepping your site next week. Here we are by one of the raised beds where we're going to be growing a few more demonstration plants, and show some ways that you can modify in your own backyard. You can grow in containers or in raised beds rather than just in the dirt. Another thing to consider if you're installing beds or you're just prepping your lawn to put vegetables in, do make sure that you're getting enough sun. At least 6 hours a day of sunlight would be preferable for a lot of plants. So just keep an eye on where the big trees are in your yard and try to avoid anything that's producing too much shade. One final thing that you can think about doing right now is if you're very concerned about your soil quality, you could consider doing a soil test. If everything looks good where you're planning on planting your vegetables, if the grass is growing really lush and thick, chances are your soil is going to be great for growing any sort of vegetable. But if you're in maybe a really urban zone, or if your soil doesn't look very healthy, you could consider doing a soil test. And to do that, the best way that I found is to go to the University of Minnesota, their Soil Lab website. They have a really simple form that you can fill out. You can dig up a sample of the dirt that you're going to use, send it in to them, and they can let you know all about how healthy your soil is and if there's anything that they would recommend you add. And I think with that, hopefully you're ready to get started, and we will see you next week.
All right, everybody, thumbs up. We're excited about our Victory Garden initiative. We'll be back in touch in a week, and your trays should be ready around May 16, but we'll be back in touch when we know more about that. Thanks so much for your interest. See you soon, your Farm Table Hungry Turtle team. Bye-bye.
Woo!